through the hub were of Hispanic origin. We had a good number of Asians increasingly coming into our program, and also support of Afghani families as they've been put into our area. And I personally took charge of that particular group of families, and really made it my business to send them culturally appropriate foods. We were sending things like ramen noodles, as Phil said, you know, canned soups, just things that, welcome to this country. Here you go. This is what we eat, which is really what many of us eat. But we really wanted them to feel, comfortable, all of the people that we serve. So we really made it our business to go out and try to get culturally appropriate foods from different vendors. And at one point, the restaurant meal program, where we distributed hot meals to people that were culturally appropriate, and also allowed them something more than a can or a boxed food, processed foods, that kind of a thing. And it was so appreciated. Just a small gesture like that, especially around the holidays, really, really appreciated. It helped to dignify those that were receiving the food. And I think that's very, very important. It showed appreciation for their culture as much as we could. Tortillas and different beans and rice, those types of things for our Hispanic clients. We had to pay attention to the Afghani families, many of them were Muslim, so we had to make sure what we were putting in those boxes contained pork and things that they don't eat. And the extra step that we went was really appreciated, and I'd love to see that expanded, where we support the restaurants by some type of grant or whatever we can do to purchase or get donations of those types of food and include them in food boxes. It helps the restaurants and the businesses, because we didn't always ask for donations. We asked to pay fair market value with grants. So they were making money and trying to recover from COVID, which, the hospitality industry was hit pretty bad. But it also, as I said, really dignified those that we served. And I'd love to see something like that continue and be built upon.
That's a very good example. Thank you so much. And I can share also our example here in Mana. We learn from people that, as William was saying, that they don't eat everything that we do provide in our food pantry. And we had a small grant. We started a program in partnership with local stores and some community-based organizations to connect some specific groups like the Ethiopian community, the Eritrean, the Vietnamese, and the African community to their culturally appropriate food. And many people are very comfortable. So those beneficiaries are very happy about the program, because they can go to those stores when they want at their convenience time. No one can see them when they go there, except that they are using a coupon to go there and pick whatever they want to pick. So I think those kind of programs are really nice to include in our food system, making sure that there are a lot of immigrants in this country, and people would like to stay connected with their food and their tradition. Thank you.
I think somebody wanted to make a comment at the same time as Carol, but I can't see necessarily who was it. Kelly?
I can read it.
Hi, yeah. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. Yeah, so, I'm just a citizen. I'm trying to get more familiar with the issues around food security, and I want to do something with it going forward as maybe a career or what have you. So I'm just kind of in information gathering mode. But to your question, Agar, I think I can't remember a time when I've been asked for culturally appropriate foods when being asked to give. So it's a really interesting thought. I actually never really thought about it. And I've actually heard messages from people that would probably respond in a way like, well, people should be happy with what they get, which is really problematic. So I think those are two barriers, I think, that I know of just offhand as like kind of a new person to what you all seem to do. So that's my current perspective, that I would say that's totally separate, if not ignored, for various reasons.
Thank you for that point, Kelly.
I would agree. It's probably highly ignored, like you said, that they eat what they'll give you. But the thing is, some of these people that come here from other different countries, some things, it's like some may be cultural, other things might be religion, but reasons on eating certain, not eating certain foods, and other stuff. It's just they're used to what they eat, what they like to eat, and we should be respectful of that, and not be like, well, although they're getting the food for free, so they take what they get, and they're just going to have to start to face with it. That's a lot of people are like that, but it's just it's very ignorant if you ask me.
Yeah.
My reaction to comments like that is sort of, well, so I have sort of a light, well, I guess my cultural connection with food is like the standard American culture, whatever that is. Familially, we cook a lot of Italian American foods, or growing up, but I think regardless of that piece of it, if that's hard for people to grasp, like I hate mushrooms. If I tomorrow, had was unable to go to a grocery store and choose my own foods because I couldn't afford to and had to go somewhere for support, and they were like, hey, you're in luck. or today we just have canned mushrooms. That's all we're giving out today. And oh, that's tomorrow too, and the next day and the next day. I was forced to just be given something that I absolutely despise eating. What would I do? I don't know. So the cultural piece feels like it's adding on a layer, but there's also just the typical, we're all making a gajillion choices every day about what we want to put in our bodies, what we like to eat, what tastes good to us. And all of those choices should be respected as much as possible. It's not easy to do, to William's point earlier, for an organization like ours that's not a grocery store. We'll never be able to source the diversity of foods that a very large, global foods market or mega mart would source. But there are certain things we can do. And Kelly, I really appreciate you bringing up that as a donor to an organization like ours, it hadn't occurred to you, and of course it didn't, because growing up, what did you, when you were in school, what the list of foods to bring to or church, bring in these foods, canned green beans, canned corn. I can't even remember anything beyond that. So I think we do have an obligation to continually build awareness around that, and not just assume that because we know because we work it every day, that everybody just automatically thinks about that.
Yeah. Thank you, Jenny.
And Sabrina also, she put a comment here. She said that there are grocery stores that try to reach more specific communities, maybe some possibility to develop new partnerships. What do you think about this, Agar?
Yeah, I think it's a great point because we are already working with some of those grocery stores, and at the same time helping our community members and also helping those small local businesses. And it's sometimes it's not very easy to have them, because I recall that we tried to have a local store in, I think it was in Silver Spring here, who is providing African food like plantains, palm oil, what else, cassava, etc. But it was so difficult to have those who accept to do that. Like global food is very far away from people, and we don't want people to just walk or go for a long way to have access to food. And sometimes they refuse to do those kind of things because we reach out to Global Food and they said, no, we cannot provide things to people and being paid afterward. So it's not easy, and that is something that we should also advocate for, it to have more stores, local stores that have diverse food so that people can have access easily. Because if you have one store here in Silver Spring and people have to walk from, I don't know, downtown to White Oak, it'll be very far away from where they are living. So thinking about having a variety of stores, promoting those local businesses to have a variety of food so that people can have access easily.
And this is what Sabrina also mentioned. She's talking about like we need maybe to boost or enhance the effort for more funding to secure these items. That's just,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Any other idea?
Well, Sabrina has her hand up. I'm curious what kind of partnership you were thinking about, Sabrina, when you wrote that comment.
Yeah, hi, everybody. So I'm a big advocate of public-private partnerships. I don't think anything really in this area of, social services and community level, programs can really, accomplish anything, these kinds of things by itself. I mean, I live close to this global food store. I'm not advocating for it. I'm not, endorsing it. I just live close by, and I've walked in a few times, and it is. It's a very, very it's not your giant at all, right? It is not. So, what are the possibilities there to just sort of explore? Maybe there's some possibilities to explore to, of the kinds of partnerships that could be developed with a Global Foods or others, again, whereby maybe they know about Manna and maybe they don't, I don't know. Maybe, it's just an awareness building at first, just, hey, we're in the community and you're already serving the community, and could we, develop some kind of pilot, some kind of small, and see how, we might work together and have some of the food items, at the Manna market and see what the take up is and see how people are responding, and just to kind of try it out. I don't know. I mean, that's an idea. The other idea I had just listening to folks is, the comments that people have made, and I just got around this time is Thanksgiving, and, a local church dropped off a brown paper bag on my door and said, we're collecting for Thanksgiving. Would you put in your, canned corn, right? And your peas and your whatever. And it struck me just, again, it's like, yes, that's what we're all used to, but what if we built upon that, to the point of, instead of making that the norm, make the norm like, thank you for your peas and your corn. We're also really interested in building this further. So thank you so much for including the shelf stable, canned fill in the blank, that's a culturally specific kind of food, something where people aren't used to doing it, but the more that we do it, the more it becomes the norm, right? So when we're asking for donations or putting the boxes for people to do food drives, in colleges or churches or wherever they are, begin to make that less of a special and more of like, that's what we do. We just make it the norm. And maybe over time, we get more of the kinds of donations that start to look more like the community. Maybe people don't even know that they can donate or put in the bins and the boxes, these kinds of things. We have to tell them in the first place, like, yeah, we want that kind of food. We don't just want Cheerios. We want, a cereal that's very culturally specific to the Afghan community or to, in a Hispanic community. I think maybe there's a real awareness piece that we have to start maybe there. I don't know, just some thoughts there to think about a little further.
Yeah, that's a very good point, raising awareness, because we need to talk to people every day, almost every day. I remember we were doing a placemaking event here, not far away from this office. And I met a lot of people who were not aware that Manna is here. Unless we are doing a lot of work there, we are trying to knock at the doors to tell people that you can come to us if you need food assistance. So we need to work every day, tell people that we are here, tell people that you can donate, you can do things for your neighbors. And and it makes me remember how we celebrate Thanksgiving in our country. sometimes it's not like here. So we have our specific food, traditional food that we cooked, and we also share food. It's not just cooking and eat, but we share with our neighbors. So if my neighbor is cooking, let's say, ndole. Ndole is a kind of leaves with ground white peanut. So if my neighbor is cooking that and I'm cooking koki, is a kind of beans that you ground and you add palm oil in, I will share my food with my neighbor. And those who do not have anything to eat, we will also share our food together. So not just raising awareness, but also sharing what we have with neighbors. Yeah.
If I could interject as well, based to Sabrina's point as well. People don't know, I found in this area, people that are able to give want to give. They just sometimes don't know how or where. So I found, as you mentioned, making specific food lists and specific food requests, they're more than happy, at least the community that I had as donors, were more than happy to donate, you know, rice and beans and chickpeas specifically, flour, different things, you know, maseka, things that people of culture use in their cooking. As long as they're told, they have no problem at all donating those items. And again, they just don't know what the need is or where to donate it. So I think we really do need to get the word out somehow. And there's so many ideas, but again, we have to, you know, have people who are able to work on this and implement those in order to get the job done.
And there is a suggestion from Kelly about indicator tags. So people would know what we prefer or what we would like them to donate. Just a suggestion. And instead of like being sorting them out and after that having them in boxes. I think he agrees, yeah.
There's been a couple of instances of that, Kelly, I would say. One is, and I'm Jenna, by the way, I realized that we didn't introduce ourselves singly, but you all know Agar because her name is the one on the on our little picture here. So one is the local co-op at Tacoma Park Silver Spring. They had a program called, I'm going to forget the catchy name for it, but essentially like a buy one, give one. And so there were particular products they labeled throughout their store where it's a little bit different from, I think, maybe what you're suggesting, but if you bought one of those items, they donated one to us at some point. It was different food assistance providers. And then there was another, I think it was Wegmans that was really good at this. They would put together pre-made brown bags of items that, you know, we said these are really popular with our community members, the community members who come to us. And so they put 4 or 5 of them in a bag and then slap a price on the bag. And then as you're leaving, as you're paying for your goods, you could add a bag to your order. So there are some examples of stores being really intentional about asking the food assistance provider, what kind of foods are you looking for? That's to everybody's point about building awareness around that and promoting it. There could be more of it because a lot of times we don't find out that there's been a food drive until after it has happened. And so we, you know, get what has been, what's been donated.
Or maybe we can like create another list. We do have our the most needed food, the list. So maybe another list, or we add to it like some cultural foods that you can also contribute or like donate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who wrote that about the monthly awareness events?
Kelly, Sabrina. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a really good idea.
There's always something, there's a month for everything, right? Or multiple, I mean, like there is something for everything. And so like, it's a win-win, like link it to, you know, is it Hispanic Heritage Month? Is it, you know, Women's History Month? Is it, you know, African-American, you know, awareness, whatever it is, and like link it to something else. And so promoting that, and you're promoting the food and cultural, norms, and you're, putting that in sort of a little bit of a spotlight when it comes to the importance of looking at food as a way to support people and empower them, no matter what they're going through. I mean, I think that's one of the strengths that I've seen from volunteering at MANA is the empowerment model. It's food is needed, and it's, and people need the help, but that doesn't mean that it's about asking for help and reaching out for help, and that's a strength. And how do we continue to say, okay, we're acknowledging that you're coming, we think you're strong, we want to recognize your culture, here are some ways we can do that and really make that another added piece of this approach.
Thanks, Sabrina.
Yeah, I
Carol?
think, oh, no, Carol, you can go.
Carol.
Yeah, I have a question. I pre-pandemic, we used to go pack bags at MANA. And I'm wondering how you get the culturally appropriate food to the appropriate cultures. Like, I just think we just put whatever, 2 of this kind of can and this, that, and then there's like a grab all of unusual things. And I always hoped that people that really wanted those things got them because they were so cool, but you never knew who was getting what. Is there a system for actually getting people the food that they would like?
Very good question.
Not in the pre-packed box model, no.
Is there
Why?
a store model anywhere?
Sorry.
Is there a store model anywhere?
Yeah, so where we are right now, our market, well, we're in the training room, but the market is outside the door behind Nancy. So we have this location and we have 2 other locations currently in operation that are choice. Third, 4th one's coming online in the next couple of months. Prior to the pandemic, we were doing a few more of these too, but a few of them have had to be transitioned to drive-through because of COVID. And we haven't transitioned them back. So our preference is to do the choice model for several reasons, but one really prevailing one that you just brought up is it's very challenging in a pre-packed bag or box model to curate the box or bag that's going to a particular person. So what we really aim to do with the food that we're buying for those pre-packed boxes, we have a list of 10 or more produce items that are kind of ubiquitous across cultures, things like onions, peppers, tomatoes. And we strive to provide those. And then occasionally we'll like throw in yucca or plantains, and we won't put them in the box necessarily. We might bring bulk amount of them to a site, and then people can kind of choose to take that in addition to the box. So there are ways we've worked it in, but choice model, the store model, as you called it, is the absolute best way to make sure that people are getting those foods that match their preferences, match their allergies, match their culture, match their health concerns. You name it, the list goes on.
And people who hate mushrooms never have to get mushrooms.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Jenna, what's your last name?
What's that?
What's your last name, Jenna?
Umbriac. UMB. Anna Rose, you wanted to say something.
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say, I think to the point of, maybe linking to monthly awareness events, I think it's important to acknowledge, especially the framework that we have around food drives and Thanksgiving, I think to the public, maybe who aren't as, focused on food insecurity projects and programs, think like, oh, okay, food drives happen around Thanksgiving. And then, it's kind of one and done, but really people are experiencing food insecurity, as we all know, year round. So it's not just around Thanksgiving. So I think also changing our framework to think like someone said earlier, to like make it the norm of having donation boxes, either at grocery stores or on your front porch, et cetera, like making it the norm to like always be considering, oh, okay, what produce can I either donate this time or buy this time at the grocery store for, whatever food is being requested by such and such organization, I think is important to think about because, yeah, people aren't just experiencing needs for food around Thanksgiving, and also not everybody celebrates Thanksgiving. So, you know, people aren't not everyone's necessarily looking for bulk amount of food to cook for themselves or their families or their neighbors around Thanksgiving because maybe they don't celebrate it. So yeah, I think just trying to acknowledge that this is an issue that can be thought about and worked towards year round, and not just, you know, the mass food drives that we think of around Thanksgiving, I think would be important as well.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Anna Rose. Thank you. Yeah, and we realize these days that a lot of people, not just around Thanksgiving, but a lot of people need food. It's not even those who are in your neighborhood and you are thinking that they are wealthy, you realize that they need food. So doing something like that on almost every day would be good, because we need to feed the needs of people. And I remember yesterday someone reached out to me, and their community, the Eritrean community, need food in their church. And I told them that with our pop-up pantry, we do food drive, we do a choice model. So we go there and we take the opportunity to talk to people directly and connect them with our food assistance. And he told me that, you know, that our community, they don't need to tell people that they need food. They don't want to tell people that they need food. So if you drop off the boxes, I will be happy, because they don't want people to see them. They see that they need, and we'll just give them the food or deliver the food to their house. So that is something that we also need to work on, because many people in the community, they are really in need, but based on their culture, based on their, I don't know if it's a pride or they don't want to show that they need food assistance, and we need to maybe meet people where they are and just help them with food, because food is something very crucial for our life. I don't know if there is any other comment about the food and tradition, food system. I would like to know how you are planning your Thanksgiving. What kind of food do you want to cook? I know that in the US it's turkey, but I don't know how you cook it. Yeah.
I'm laughing because the one time recently I tried to cook my own turkey, it turned out horrible. So I was like, I can't answer your question, but maybe somebody can.
Yeah. Do you celebrate Thanksgiving?
Yes, we do. And you know, what I was going to say is not like about me. Last week I went to a restaurant and they gave me like a piece of paper that had like, what kind of turkeys are they cooking for Thanksgiving? And it's actually it was like an Arabic or an Egyptian cuisine, like it's an Egyptian restaurant. So I found out that they have, okay, this is the American way, and this is the Egyptian way, and this is the, I don't remember the third way, but there's like 3 different ways that they, I think it was like the third option was you take it uncooked and they marinate it for you and you cook it at home, or you just put it in the oven. So I noticed that he talked, the chef came out and he spoke to me and he told me that how he worked in Whole Foods before, and he knows, and he's Egyptian, by the way, and he knows very well the American way and how, you know, delicious it is, but he still wants me to try the way he cooks it in the Egyptian way, which includes it's a stuffed squash, or like mahshi, we call it mahshi, which is stuffed like vegetables. And the turkey, it's also stuffed with rice, which is different than the American stuffing, that the way it's done here in the US. So it was really surprising, like to see the that there are like many ways that are being offered to us, as in my family I do cook and I do cook Egyptian food, and this is what my kids are used to, and like my husband. And so we still have these, we can celebrate Thanksgiving with the turkey in, Egyptian way, cooked in the Egyptian way, which is like really surprising, and it was like good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anyone else would like to share?
So I come from a family of immigrants as well. Almost all of my family, including my husband, aunts, uncles, parents, are from Lebanon. And we like very much to represent both cultures on the table. We're very grateful to be in this country and have been afforded everything that comes with immigration to America, but we also are very connected to our roots, and we want our children to be very connected to their roots as well. And they prefer that. When they were little, they used to be embarrassed to go to school. Everybody would say, oh, you know, we had turkey and mashed potatoes and stuffing, and they came home, Mom, what is this? We didn't have this on the table. We had stuffed grape leaves and hummus and something called kibbe and these things. So we decided to, you know, connect the two cultures by always having a turkey and mashed potatoes and stuffing, which was something I had never had growing up, but I had to learn to make it. I come from a personal chef background, so I try to, you know, practice with as many recipes as possible. But we feel it's very important to connect the cultures on the Thanksgiving table, because it really is a time for us to be thankful for the opportunity to be here in America. And so we do that through food. Food is just so much more than nourishment to the body. It's definitely nourishment to the soul. And, you know, so many memories are connected to food, and we want to build those things for our children as well. So we make sure to connect constantly the two cultures.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, very beautiful. I didn't think about it, but last year I did the turkey.
How'd yours
but-
turn out?
Yeah. I marinate everything and put it in the oven. But my kid didn't really enjoy it very well, maybe with the way that I cook it. But I just realized that it's very important to put those things on the table so that your kid can see that we learned this from America and we brought this from our country, and they see both. Because in the school, for example, they can share with their classmates. Thank you, Nikki, for that point.
I wanted to say one thing. One of the best turkeys I ever had was made by somebody from Japan who had never, you know, thought about cooking a turkey before. And she soaked the whole thing in soy sauce before she roasted it. And it tasted fabulous. So I like the idea of fusion, of mixing the cultures. And so the food actually comes out with slightly different flavors. And I think that's a lot of fun.
I think recognizing Nikki, what you said about your kids going to school and other kids, you know, talking about the turkey and mashed potatoes that they had, and it's not similar to the food that your kids had. I think, you know, educating children about, you know, differences in different cultures' food is so important, because I'm sure we've all heard stories of people that had experiences with family members or themselves in school when kids were making fun of their meals because they weren't, quote unquote, traditionally American or what they were used to seeing. And so, you know, then it kind of instills, you know, feelings of embarrassment or shame about the food that you're bringing to school and the food of your family and your culture. So I think, you know, when we're talking about appropriate cultural foods and how to support communities that are food insecure and also are seeking culturally appropriate foods, it's important to think about how kids are integrating with each other in school and the foods that they're bringing, and how can they show respect and appreciation for the different cultures that you know, they're bringing into school and that they're experiencing at home as well, I think is important.
Yeah, very, very important. So we have
I just want
Matilda.
to say, I was going to say hi to the folks that have joined since we've been chatting. Excuse me.
So Matilda, yeah, she just wishes to contribute some of her stories, but she's busy with a patient right now. So yeah, I'm glad that you're interested like in our stories, and like, yeah, maybe this made you more excited and you wanted to share with us some stories too.
And I think Shelley joined.
Yes, hi everyone.
Shelley,
Oh.
I can't see.
Oh, yeah, you
on
cannot
the-
see
Oh.
everyone.
Hello everyone. How you all doing today?
So,
How we do tradition, we implement everybody as a family, all adults, even to kids, contribute fixing food. And this year they decided, which I don't agree with, is implement seafood because I'm allergic to it and I can't have none of it. So they wanted to change up to tradition this year and implement seafood.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
That's actually an important thing as well. Is we're talking about the foods people eat. Different conditions. Even in other traditions, I'm pretty sure there's allergies. So yes, culture appropriate food, but also options of still appropriate food, but that may substitute something. Like I don't know what foods, honestly, culturally speaking, but like for example, of stuff we have here. If somebody at Gettysburg Help comes to our pantry and they had let us know that they have an allergy to regular milk, we give them soy milk or something like that. I'm not saying that will be the food, that will be something that they would need for culture appropriate food, but similarly, there's other culture appropriate foods that may need a substitute. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but that's also something to keep track of as well, people's allergies.
Yeah.
Definitely. I was actually just going to mention that this is Angie. I feel you, Shelley. Thanksgiving and holidays where we gather around food, I think they're challenging for me. I'm a vegetarian. I eat gluten-free and gluten sensitive. And so, making sure that I have food to eat and I put myself into situations where I have to make choices. Am I going to choose to eat the things that I have loved eating all of my life? My family has these, like the same menu every Thanksgiving because we like things that specific way. I always like the side dishes better than the turkey, so I'm not missing out on the turkey, but am I going to eat the stuffing, or am I going to eat the mac and cheese because it has gluten in it? So those are the kinds of choices that I find myself in the position of, and it also reminds me that our participants are experiencing those things as well. So I'm very sensitive to the needs of people who have allergy issues and other reasons why they need specific types of food. So Agar can't help you with any turkey recipes, unfortunately.
Thank you, Angie.
And Sabrina, she shared with us that the cookbooks and recipes, they are inherited from our grandparents and grandmothers. And this reminds me of the first time I ever cooked a turkey. That was in maybe 2002 when I started, I decided to marinate a turkey, and I went to a friend's grandmother to ask her about her recipe, and she gave me the American way recipe. She's Egyptian, but she gave me to the American way. This is what we knew at that time, and I did marinate it and used oranges and celery and a lot of stuff that she told me about, and it was the best time actually I ever cooked a turkey. After that, I started cooking every year. It never turned out like the way I did the first time, which was from the grandmother of my friend. So yeah, you're right.
We learn from seniors. So
I want to say something to Angela. Yes, everybody likes the sides better than the turkey. And when I lived in New England, I was part of this hiking group that would go to a different place every August to hike, and they would haul this little cook stove with them, and everything was cooked on this cook stove. And one summer the cook stove broke down, so they always ended this week-long camp with a turkey dinner. And so what they did was they had all the sides and no turkey, and everybody said they didn't even notice the difference. It's the sides that really make it. And to William, I also want to say, some people with dairy allergies also cannot tolerate soy. And the milk that I find that seems to work for everybody is oat milk. just for your information.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, I do have a dairy allergy, but for some reason I can have soy, but then I have a stepfather. He can't. All he can drink is not vegetarian. I'm on the wrong subject. I forgot what type. I forgot what type of milk he drinks. So I guess everyone's different. But
There's cashew milk, and there's almond milk, and there's oat milk, and there's soy milk, and that's all I've ever heard of, I think.
there's another one that he drinks, but I don't know the name of it to save my life. But so I guess I guess everyone's different, has to know what it is they can or cannot drink.
Rice milk, right? Thank you. That's the other one.
So much different kinds of milk out there. I didn't realize.
Coconut milk.
Well, careful about calling them milk, William. The dairy industry will be after you. So their milk.
So what I'm supposed to call it? Milk substitute?
Milk alternatives. Yeah.
So Agar, can I give my spiel before we run out of time?
Yes, please. I would like to give Carol the time now to talk about our next Breaking Bread, which is, we are planning to do it in person here at Mana. So take it away, Carol.
So we were hoping that enough people would want to come that we could do this. We thought it would be really nice to have an in-person holiday Breaking Bread with Mana lunch for the December meeting. And what brought us to this idea was that I have this apparently very far-fetched idea that Montgomery County should have at least one, if not like 6, community kitchens where people can get together and cook together. And what brought it up, I thought of this in the past, was a couple meetings ago when I was making pickles. So I kept my camera off because I was busy getting the pickles made. And I just make refrigerator pickles because the idea of canning makes me nervous. And I'm afraid I'll can it wrong and ruin everything. So I'm happy with pickles that last for 6 weeks. I don't need a whole winter's full of pickles, or I can make more. But I'd love to actually know how to can, but I would like to learn. And so I was thinking there should be a community kitchen with people who know what they're doing, who can help other people. And how this could work into Mana is whenever we would do something, everybody would make a couple extra jars to donate to Mana. And so I started looking around, and Agar started looking around for community kitchen type spaces. And there are some kind people who would let us use their kitchen, but this isn't like, so far, like not any regular basis. And we don't know if anybody else in the whole county is interested besides me anyway. So then we came up with the idea of a holiday cookie exchange. And so when I started researching a holiday cookie exchange, I realized that everybody who participated actually had to be a really good cookie maker, because you can't have some people making these amazing cookies and other people buying the store-bought rolls and just slicing them up, like it has to be kind of an equal exchange, and people are supposed to be like, bring like 8 dozen, and then there's a total of 8 people and everybody goes with a dozen of these 8 different kinds of cookies. And I just couldn't see that happening. That seemed so far-fetched to know who could actually make cookies, and I'm not one of them. I guess I could come up with something that would be different, but it would be an effort. And so if something's an effort, we thought, well, people might not want to do that. So then we thought, what about just a holiday lunch get together where we could share our food and our cultures with each other? And we thought that would be easy. I live in Rockville, so to me, Silver Spring is like on the other side of the world. And I guess people from Gaithersburg must be even more so, but maybe some of us could even carpool or something. And so we thought it was a wonderful idea, and we want to know what other people think. Did I leave anything out, Agar?
No.
I did want to have a topic too, so that we could get things discussed. And Agar, what was the topic? Holiday?
We're thinking about healthy food during holidays.
Healthy food during holidays. Isn't that a great topic? I mean, holidays is like the antithesis of healthy food. So that could be a topic, but also we could talk about our cultures and where the foods come from and memories and all that sort of thing. So what do you think, everybody?
we are also thinking about doing it the second Wednesday of the month not the third Wednesday, on the 14th, I think, December 14th.
Just note, you don't want to eat my food if I'm cooking it. Just note that.
Thanks for the warning, William.
That's why I don't cook.
So this is Sabrina. So what I'm hearing a couple of things. I'm hearing it's kind of like a potluck almost, like bring something that you're comfortable with, that might represent, your culture, whether it's Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Christmas, none of the above, the end of the year, I'm so glad, celebration, whatever it is, right? Like, I'm hearing that. I'm hearing no pressure. Like, if you're not a good cook, don't worry about it. Bring what you're comfortable with, and just, it's about gathering, which is, I think, a really important topic these days to begin with. The where it is still sounds like it's up in the air a little bit based on where people are. And then the other really, I think, possibility here, again, is to, this theme that we've been talking about amongst this group, is, sharing culture. And some of us have certainly shared about culture. So is this an opportunity to kind of kickstart, the idea of, come to the holiday, gathering, bring a shelf stable, bring a can of something that, represents that. And, we can donate it to Manna or something. I mean, like, maybe we're the ones, we want others to do it, but maybe we're the ones that have to kind of start, and show how it's done and what's possible, and talk about that a little bit. So I think there's a lot of potential here. I think some of the logistics sound like they need a little bit of fine tuning, but I mean, I'd certainly be interested in, that idea of a gathering where people feel welcome. And, it's goodwill. It's to form collaborations and connections, and just, celebrate that we made it through another, third year of the pandemic, whatever it is we're in now. Maybe bring a recipe card. I mean, like Nikki was talking about, like, bring a recipe card. If you don't want to bring a canned food of your, whatever, bring a recipe card. We could do a recipe card exchange even. That could be kind of a fun thing to do. So yeah, I like the idea a lot, Carol. Thank you for that.
Thanks, Sabrina.
I'm in.
Anyone else?
And we were also mentioning, we were thinking that if any of us have friends or know of people who are interested in this topic, that if you feel like inviting them, that would probably be okay. Are people okay with that idea? That the two people I was thinking of inviting were the two people who work at the University of Maryland Extension School in the extension program in Durwood, up at the agricultural farm. And one of them is the adult nutrition educator, and one of them is the child nutrition educator. And I've met the adult nutrition educator, and she's wonderful, and I would love to have her. And the child nutrition educator I talked to on the phone, and she said she works with Manna through Cynthia. So I was hoping Cynthia would be here so I could see her, but she's not here. So
In the other
okay, so anyway, that would be nice if Cynthia could invite her. Her name is Marina. And I just thought it would be good to get them as part of our resources, because they're all over the county doing all these amazing things. And so that was like all the thoughts I had for us, and if other people who we thought would be interested.
Thank you so much, Carol. Cynthia is here, but I want to be respectful of your time. And thank you so much for joining. If you have another idea about our next Breaking Bread, in-person Breaking Bread, send me an email.
I think there's enough energy around this, that we'll pursue it.
Exactly.
I mean, if people, as it gets closer to the holidays, I don't want to speak for everybody, but like, I get it on the calendar, it's not gonna happen.
Exactly.
So-
December 14th. Yes.
The 14th?
The 14th. Yeah. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Nikki, Sabrina, Angie, Carol, Michelle, William, Charmaine, Matilda. I know that you are hearing us. And my teammates, Jenna, Nancy, and Cynthia. Naros. Thank you so much, and see you next month.
So you'll get an email with details, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, I'll put it on the calendar.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye,
you.
thank you.